Hello, everybody. My name is Christina Manis. I'm a licensed pharmacist. I own a wellness center. I am a yoga instructor, a wellness coach, an ordained healing minister, a Reiki master, and as I always say, none of that matters. What I really am is just an ordinary, hardworking, middle class American woman. I am a part of Generation X. I always bring that up because I'm like, Generation X, where are you? Why are our voices so quiet right now, right? Bring it on, come out, and let's all start talking and having these conversations. So today's WOMANOSPHERE episode is going to focus on all the single ladies. Yeah, all the single ladies. And don't tell the others, because you know what? And I don't mean like the other ladies or anything like that. And I don't even mean the men. But what I'm going to do is unleash a couple of secrets here about being single at my age. And really, as a woman at any age, this can be something that really hits home with anybody who's single. And here we go. We're always sort of feeling like if you have never been married or if you're older and you just haven't found the right person, that somehow there's something wrong with us, or we're losers, or why doesn't it ever work out? Some people are divorced. I personally have never been married, but I think it's the same concept of just not finding the right person and having had relationships, but just never having gone into marriage is, I've lived with a couple of people that I've been in a relationship with at different times in my life. And so that is like marriage. We just weren't married and we broke up instead of getting a divorce. So I think in either situation, it's a matter of, okay, well, we didn't find the right partner in our lives to go the distance with. And there's no shame in that. And it doesn't mean that if we still have not found that person, that there's anything wrong with us, right? And sometimes we feel, I have a star. This is not the same one that was making noise last time. This is Wilbur. Anyhow, maybe Carl will come over too and I can show you his brother Carl. Anyhow, crazy cat lady shit, right? And right, this is like a perfect time to talk about that. If you're single and you have cats, you're made fun of in society. Crazy cat lady bullshit, like nobody wants to come near us. I do have a puppy too now, which is the first time that I have had a dog. I got my dog when I turned 50. And so, yeah, I mean, I almost feel better having a dog along with my 3 cats because now I'm not the crazy cat lady anymore. Like everybody knows me as a dog mom because they see me walking the dog and they love my dog, and so do I. But it's funny how all these labels start coming down on us, right? If we're single, and especially if we're older ladies and we're single, and for some reason people just love to kind of bash and trash the older ladies. And I'm not really sure what that's about in society. I think there's a lot of misogyny and bashing anyway, and that's what we're here to kind of like try to clear that out. But as far as it boils down to being a single woman, there's nothing to feel bad about. And the secrets here that I'm about to unleash is, oh my goodness, it's actually fun and freeing to be a single woman, even if you are 50 or 60 or 70. I know a lot of women who are older and single are going through a period of loneliness and feeling disconnected, and they really want to find that correct partner. And I empathize with that. I don't particularly get lonely, but I will say that I can empathize with wanting to have a companion, right, in life. Somebody that you can depend on, somebody who is at the very least emotionally supportive. That rocks. But I actually find that in my friendships. And here's where I flip this over to like, what's fun about being single at any age is, first of all, you can do whatever you want. It is sweet freedom. You do not have to be on somebody else's schedule or answer to anybody. And so it's very freeing. So that's the most important part about enjoying being single, is that you can just do you all the time. Number 2, your friends are your fulfillment, which is great, because then if you ever do find a partner who you go the distance with, you are not going to be expecting that person to be your everything. And in some cases, your family can be fulfilling too. But as a single lady, it gives us the opportunity to kind of go out and about and do what we want to do. And we find connections with other ladies, with, sometimes, like me, my best friend is a guy. I mean, maybe it's just a totally platonic friendship with men that you are experiencing while you're single, and that's great because there's nobody challenging your friendships. But then when you do get into a relationship, you will have a well-rounded life. You will not be depending solely on that person for company, which then doesn't put pressure on them. If you're like, hey, I have a well-rounded life, I have my social circle, and we come together as partners, but I'm not expecting you to fulfill every single void in my life. So being able to go out and have fun with friends is like a big part of what is so fun about being single. Number 3, you definitely can go to bed at night by yourself and not have to worry about snoring or waking somebody up, or them waking you up, or having hot flashes and them making you feel even more hot, or whatever it is. So, I mean, that's just kind of a funny one, but I know the last time I tried to date somebody and I was expecting it to go into an actual relationship, and 3 months later, after we had already been seeing each other, dating, had sex with each other, all of that, a bunch of sex, and then we never had any overnights, right? The person did not want to sleep over. After a while, I thought, wow, like, this is total fuck buddy status. And like, I don't, like, there were other things involved, like, dishonesty, which has been the reason why the majority of my relationships have not gone into a full-blown relationship or have not worked out. Generally, dishonesty and verbal abuse or emotional abuse, or all 3 of those things, has played into the failed relationships. So, but I look back on that and I have to giggle, because I'm thinking, well, maybe this guy just wasn't ready to go there, because, there's embarrassing things that can happen in your sleep. And, some people are a bit vain. And so, and some people just like their space at night. They like to be able to roll over in their queen size or king size bed and not have to worry about if they're, elbowing somebody in the nose. So number 3, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Number 4, everything you do as far as your bills and your sustenance for life is on you. So it tells you you're self-sufficient. You are not depending on anybody else for anything. Like, you're able to survive on your own. And that's a huge confidence builder. I look at some people in relationships that can't get out for, financial reasons, and they are really stuck there. But it's a choice to be stuck there. They could get the divorce, they could split the finances, they could figure out if there's child support or alimony or whatever, and go on their way. And for those people who have done that, it's so freeing to understand that you can support yourself. You do not need to be supported. You don't need to have a partner to live. And you can really, number 5 fun thing is you can focus on yourself and your creativity and your self-growth. I think that's probably one of the best things about being single, is the authenticity of it. You don't have to change who you are for someone else. And once you get used to being single and finding your authentic creative self, and you do that and you go out and you just like, you do you, again, like, I do what I want kind of attitude, right? So once you're free enough to just be able to do that, nobody's questioning you, you don't have to explain yourself, and you build a certain sense of confidence through that authenticity and through that creativity. You literally build your own life. If you have a home where maybe you have a roommate or maybe you don't, but you also have this option to create your own space around you, what you like, your own kind of artwork, your own sitting spaces, what do they look like? Do you have a little bit of an altar, or like ashes of your pets or something of that sort? You can do any of that, and it is completely you getting into yourself, which is so fun. And once we do that, we build a sense of authenticity and confidence. So again, then when you meet the person, if you do meet the person who you are going to be spending the long term with, you're already in a place where you're a whole person and you can be yourself and be authentic and not lose any of that and still have a healthy relationship. And in fact, that is what a healthy relationship is all about. Keeping your core person, your heart, your core values, and keeping your own personal creativity, your individuality, and your uniqueness, and being able to express that in life, and having a partner at your side who will embrace that, who will help support that, and who won't try to change you, and who will not feel threatened by your every success. And so being independent is the best part about being single, because nobody can take anything from you. And also, you can come into a relationship offering the sense of confidence and self-awareness and independence that some people can't offer. In other words, let's take, for example, somebody that does not ever remain single. They get out of one relationship, they jump into another, or they get out of a relationship and then they maybe, have a roommate for a while and they're really leaning on their roommate and friend, and then they get into their next relationship pretty quickly. This type of person, no harm done, right? I mean, if you're not harming anybody else and that's the way you roll, that's great. However, you miss out on, or they miss out on, this whole opportunity to just be yourself and be authentic and build your own life and build your creative space, and to know that you love having other people in your life, but you're not depending on them. There's no codependency. You're not needy. You don't need anybody. So those are some of the fun things about being single. And then the other thing is if there is men listening and you want to find a lady and you're just kind of not sure about women, what do women want? I know that when I've been getting to know somebody, in a situation where you're feeling each other out and you're seeing like maybe if they could be a good partner, there are red flags or there are not red flags. One of the things that guys often say is, I'm trying to figure you out. And I want to tell you guys, there's nothing to figure out. Women seem to be very complex because men seem to be so simple. But we're one and the same. We are all very complex. We all have emotions. Some of us are better at expressing it than others. But for a woman, there's not much to figure out. We really like to be respected. We like to be complimented. We like to be appreciated. We do like to be affectionate, some of us. It's not for everybody, but learning a love language of the person that you are thinking about spending, some serious time with, and figuring out like what they like. I will say the majority of women that I've been around, they do like a man to be a little bit protective of them, not overbearing, but we do like support. We like a man to want to shield us from the bad things in the world and be there as our blanket and as our comfort. And we like a man to be nurturing in that way, where it's not always anger and harshness, where there's a softness that can come in, a confidence that a man will have, where he can very gently be protective and very gently be a provider. And it doesn't always have to be a materialistic thing. Like, we don't all want the fancy car and the huge bank account. Some of us, the majority of us who are really down to earth, we want the same thing. We want a man who is down to earth. Or, maybe there is homosexual or bisexual listeners. So, or we want a woman who is going to be able to provide emotional support. It doesn't necessarily matter if the person is rich, okay? sure, there's a lot of superficial, mainstreamy people in this culture. And we're hoping with podcasts like this to just bring out the reality and the authenticity of each person to say, like, really, I mean, obviously, happiness is not found by being wealthy. Look at Elon Musk. He is miserable. Like, the guy is on his Twitter X and he's constantly ripping on people and just blasting people. And happy people don't do that. And he doesn't really post anything like happy and inspiring. The guy could be a hero and he just chooses not to be. He seems quite miserable to me. I obviously that amount of wealth cannot buy him love. And obviously it doesn't really buy people good looks. I know people try to like do the plastic surgery and all of that stuff, but honestly, is that important? It doesn't really seem to buy them good looks. It buys them looks like they've had work done. And so we know, okay, well, you're wealthy enough to do that, but that's not the end all. And I don't think that that can completely transform somebody into a truly different looking person. So you still kind of, even with the money, retain what you look like. And so the money doesn't buy like good looks and these, you know, men that are going out and wearing makeup. Okay, I mean, if you want to do that, but don't be hating on people who cross dress if you're going to go out and wear makeup. You know, men that are getting plastic surgery or doing extreme things to try to look better than other men. This is the kind of superficial stuff that doesn't bring us together. So, I mean, there is that out there. And if you're into that, that's fine. You're probably not watching a podcast like this. But I don't so much think that that's what women want from men. I don't think we want you to break your nose and then re-straighten it or like have, you know, a sculpted jawline. That is really not what is important. What is important is that you treat us with respect and that you are nurturing and emotionally supportive and you can be kind and compassionate and empathetic and see those things as strengths and not weaknesses. That you can be accountable when you make a mistake and that you can apologize and you can see that as a strength and not a weakness. That you can have a woman in your life who meets you as an equal and maybe even challenges you to think deeper. And that does not inspire anger in you. It just simply inspires love. Like you're like, wow, I fucking love this woman. You know, she challenges me. She makes me think. She's not afraid of me. Women don't want to be submissive to men anymore. That is in the past. We're going from the moment of now forward. So we don't have to talk about the past. We just have to be real with the frequency and the vibration we're in. And what that is people coming together. Power comes back to the people. We realize we're one. We don't want to fight each other. We don't want to see somebody have their rights taken away while we keep our rights. We don't want to struggle just to survive. We don't want to feel pressured. So we can come together and shift our culture and our cultural views away from the superficial, away from the materialism. That's really what's going to save us as a nation and as a world and as a humanity, just getting into like the authenticity and the realness of human beings and stripping away all the stuff that is not us, the stuff that when we leave this earth, we're going to leave behind. So it doesn't matter about the bank account and the money. Sure, you might want to leave things to your kids or grandkids. That's great. But the essence of you is your generosity. It's not the money that you made. You won't take that with you. And so people that hoard their money and they don't really care about, you know, who some of people hoard their money and then they have so much and they don't leave it to their family members. You know, they'll give it to who knows what, but like anybody but their family because they're so bitter. And so imagine that too. It doesn't always matter what you accomplish in your life as far as material success. It matters how you lived and what you gave and how generous you were, but also the connections that you made, what you learned, your soul growth, your personal growth. All of that is something that is your legacy or your legend, and you will leave that behind with people that have memories. But even those memories will fade. Memories of you as generations pass, and the you that you are now will be long gone. Maybe there'll be some pictures or something, but in reality, the essence of what we take with us, we are all a shared humanity. We're a big consciousness. And once we can learn to connect and use the connection to grow, we will form better communities across the globe. And again, we'll be able to create a heaven on earth. But while we're in the middle of creating that, it'll take a little time, right? For those of us that are single, look at the positives, enjoy it. If you're looking for a partner, don't give up on that, but also just enjoy being single and don't worry about all the cliches that people tell you. None of them are true. Some people just have relationships and they don't get married, and that's fine too. No pressure to be anything or do anything. No societal pressure whatsoever. Just enjoy your authenticity. And what I'll be doing is taking this topic into another couple of episodes, but at least one more, where I hit the streets and talk to women who are single, or even some that are in relationships or married, and find out exactly what we do want from our partners or from a future partner that we haven't found yet. So that'll be kind of exciting because we'll get some different perspectives. I right now live in the country, so I plan on asking some women in the more rural parts of where I am, and then going into the city and talking to some urban and suburban ladies and just finding out, like, what does everybody really want? Like, let's tell the guys out there, let's tell the potential partners out there, like, what we're really truly looking for, so that we can end the confusion. We can bring people together and come together and really just start having healthier relationships. So why not, right? Okay, it was good talking to everybody today. Stay tuned for more.